What's up, YouTube? Happy New Year! Tonight I'm going to show you all the games I got during the month of December 2014. I had a great month this month. Actually didn't make a whole lot of progress on my collecting goals of collecting for the Super Nintendo, Nintendo Game Boy Original, and the Sega Saturn. However, for some of the systems I wasn't collecting, I had a banner month on quite a few things. So we're going to start off with Sega systems tonight. And I'm going to walk you through all the stuff I got for the Sega Genesis first off. This was a great month for finding Sega Genesis games. I did a lot of upgrading on stuff I already had because I found complete copies or boxed copies of a lot of things at really good prices. So a lot of these games I already had them, but yeah, I figured why not have them complete because Genesis games just look really great on the shelf, especially in their box. So we'll start this off. The very first one of these is the only one that's loose, and that is Trazia. This is a game that I wanted because it's made by Renovation, and it's actually the last Renovation game I needed for my collection. I believe they put out about 25 games for the Genesis, 3 games for the Sega CD, and 1 game for Super Nintendo, and I have them all now, so it's pretty cool. My next goal would be to upgrade all these to complete, but I don't know if I'll get to that point because some of them are getting pretty expensive. So cool to get that knocked out. So the next stack is going to be all the boxed Genesis games, and then we'll do the complete ones after that. The first one of these is Boogerman, a pick and flick adventure. Yeah, whatever. Next one is a shooter. It's a pretty good one I've had for a while loose. It's Biohazard Battle. Had a much different name in Japan. This game is known as Crying in Japan, which is kind of odd. But yeah, pretty cool game. Next is a popular game. It's pretty expensive. It's not really one of my favorites, but it's Rock and Roll Racing. Very much like RC Pro-Am if you played those, so pretty cool. Next one's one I owned on the Super Nintendo even as a kid, and just got it on the Genesis now just to see if there's any differences. And that is Zombies Ate My Neighbors, which is a pretty cool game too. Next one's another shooter, and that is Wings of War, which is a pretty neat game also. Then we're going to do a couple more of the, or I think now we're in the complete games, so let me just go over all the complete ones. Next one is Joe and Mac. And I've owned the Super Nintendo version of this for a while, but this is my first time getting the Genesis one. This next one is another shooter. It's one of my favorites, and it is Raiden Trad. Somebody on YouTube you guys should all subscribe to if you don't already is Crack Lotus. Crack is a really great YouTuber. He puts up a lot of great videos, but I have to give him a special shout out here because he calls this the watermelon edition of this game due to the colors of the box art. Well, apparently people didn't like the watermelon edition box art because it was so cartoony looking. So there's actually a more serious box cover art of this by the publisher BigNet. So if you ever see the BigNet version of this, it's real gray and red and just kind of plain. But I guess that's what America wanted. They did not want the watermelon edition, unfortunately. But I think the watermelon edition is very cool. The other thing that's funny about the BigNet version is they were lazy and they didn't even change the artwork on the manual. It still looks all watermelon-y too. So cool stuff. Next one is another shooter, and this was an arcade port. It's called Fire Shark, which the arcade version was released by a company called Toaplan, which made a lot of great arcade shooters. Next one is another Renovation game, not one of their better ones, but it's Beast Wrestler. And then we get to one that I do like quite a bit. It's Rolling Thunder 3. I think this whole series is very cool. Next one's another cool game, Atomic Runner by Data East. It's known as Chelnov in Japan. Russian Hero. It's kind of interesting. Next one's one I never owned for some reason, and that's Golden Axe 2. So I've got a nice complete copy of that. I got one more stack of Genesis complete games, so like I said, there was quite a bit this month. So the next one's also one of my favorites, another Renovation game, and that is Valis. Very cool artwork on that one. Then we have King of the Monsters 2. Justice League Task Force, Superman, Batman, all that stuff on it. I guess I have some more that are just boxed. I think I found the rest of my stack that are just boxed. So some of these don't have manuals. The next one's another big hitter on the Genesis, and that's Splatterhouse 3. So pretty cool to get a boxed copy of that now. I always just had this loose. Next one is a game that you would think would be pretty terrible, but it's actually not that bad. It's McDonald's Treasureland Adventure. And it was developed by the game developers Treasure, so kind of got their name in there as well too, which is kind of cool. But actually pushes the Genesis pretty hard. It's a good looking game. Next one is Fantastic Dizzy, and this has one of those weird Codemasters carts that has kind of a, I don't know, weird shape. Next one's another somewhat of a shooter, and that is Target Earth. It's a cool game. I got the first Arrow the Acrobat. Another Namco game, Quad Challenge. I think this was an arcade game, but I'm not positive. Next we have eSWAT, which is one of the early first-party Sega games. Another cool renovation game with cool artwork. It's Gain Ground. This was a Sega arcade game, but didn't really do so hot in America, I don't think, but I really like this game. I think it's very cool. Next one's a game I just wanted to check out for a long time. It's Blades of Vengeance, and I haven't played it yet, but the graphics on the box actually make this look like a pretty cool, I don't know, beat 'em up slasher type game, so should be good. Next one is a Taito game. That is Chase HQ 2. Kind of cool box artwork on that one. Next one's another cool game. I've had this loose for a long time, but I got to upgrade to a boxed one, and that is Sparkster, which is Rocket Knight Adventures 2, actually. But very cool game. This also came out on Super Nintendo, and I think the Super Nintendo version plays great. I haven't played this one yet. Next one is Strider Returns, Journey from Darkness. This, I don't think had anything to do with Capcom, who created the original arcade game Strider. I think this was a European game, so I haven't heard very good things about it, but definitely want to try it out, at least see how it is. And finally, for the Sega Genesis, I got the Pirates of Dark Water, and very cool artwork on that one. This also came out on the Super Nintendo, but the Super Nintendo game is not the same even type of game as the Genesis game, so pretty cool that they're both unique and definitely worth a look. So that is all for the Sega Genesis this month. Like I said, it was quite a few box games. Definitely a good haul there. And the next system I'm going to cover is the Sega Saturn. Didn't do as well with this one this month. Like I said, I'm trying to get a complete US Sega Saturn collection, but I only got about 7 games this month. So first one of these is a pretty cool one. It's a fighting game that's kind of hard to find. It's called Galaxy Fight by Sunsoft. And I think this was a pretty early release in Japan. US, yeah, probably pretty early release too, but good looking arcade fighting game. Next one of these is a light gun game, and that is Maximum Force by Midway. Then we have a game that, for some reason, it's pretty damn rare on the Saturn. It's easy to find on the PlayStation, but that is Incredible Hulk, the Pantheon Saga. I doubt this is very good, but yeah, it is a hard game to find. Next one is just some sports. Olympic soccer at the Atlanta 1996 Olympics. Then we have Criticom. Nothing special there. One of the many ports of this game, Casper. This came out on, this is actually, I believe, the last 3DO game released in the US, but one of the early Saturn games. It also came out on PlayStation. There was a couple other systems, I think, too, so nothing too crazy there. And the last one for Sega Saturn is The Lost World Jurassic Park. Alright, so we're going to move on to the next system. One thing I did not own in all my gaming systems I collect for and own and play is I never bought a Sony PSP. So this month, I got a PSP. I started to realize how many cool exclusives that system has that are like shooters and things like that, arcade games that are right up my alley. So I had to have a PSP. The thing is, every time I looked around at used PSPs, they were always kind of beat up. They never had the box. They looked worn out, and the price of them was always around $60-$70 for a used one. Well, I got lucky because I found out that GameStop stores still have, a few of them still have new PSPs. You can go on their website and search their inventory on those if you're interested in one. They go for $80, which, I mean, I don't think is that bad to have one that's brand new in the packaging. It's a PSP 3000, which was the last variant of the PSP. Pretty cool, but yeah, so I got a brand new PSP system this month, and I've been playing this quite a bit. I actually do really enjoy the system. I kind of wish I'd gotten one sooner. But yeah, I don't love GameStop, but the fact that they have these, definitely worth a look, and I think it's a pretty good deal right now. So just search in your area. I think there was about 5 of the 30 stores in the area in St. Louis here that had them still, so maybe there's still some lingering in the back room of your GameStops as well. But if you need a PSP, a good time to pick one up, because I guarantee those are going to disappear forever pretty soon. So going into the PSP next, I actually have quite a few more games that I ordered this month that I'm still waiting for in the mail. So I'll have a few of those to cover with you next month. But I did start getting some of the import games on it as well. The system is region free, which is awesome, and there's some really good import exclusives for this system. So, like I said, I like shooting games, so I'll show you a couple of the ones I got to start off. The first one of these is Neo Geo Heroes Ultimate Shooting. This was released in the arcade as King of Fighters Sky Stage. It was a shooting game starring King of Fighters characters. And I think they added some more classic SNK characters. I mean, you've got Marco from Metal Slug on the cover there too. But I haven't tried it yet, but yeah, I mean, cool to have a Neo Geo themed shooting game instead of fighting game like most of their stuff is. The next one is a port of PC Engine games, and one of these is actually probably one of the most expensive PC Engine imports you can buy, but it's also supposed to be a pretty good game too. It's a shooter, of course, is why I wanted it. So this is the PC Engine Best Collection, and I believe it's called the Galaxy Fraulein collection, essentially. The first two games here, they're texty adventure games, Galaxy Fraulein 1 and 2. This is the one I wanted, though, and this is known as Sapphire. It has many of the same characters as the other games, so I think that's why it's part of that series. But as far as how this game plays, it's nothing like it. It's a shooting game. It's actually not only very tough to get for the Japanese PC Engine, but you have to have an arcade card to play it, which just further complicates things. So to have it perfect port in this collection, definitely worth buying. Saved me a ton of money too compared to getting the Japanese version for PC Engine. There's also a PC Engine collection of Star Soldier series games, which I definitely want to get that one. It has 4 on the pack, but that's going to be one that I'm going to be looking for hard this month because I think it's a really cool collection too. This next one is WTF. No, really, that's what the game is called, WTF. This is a port, or it's not a port, it's a collection of mini games, micro games even probably, just having a very weird Japanese sense of humor. Definitely a very strange game, but one of the US exclusives for PSP, so hey, if you want to get something unique for your PSP, check this out, WTF. This next one is a shooter collection of classic shooters as well, and this one did get a US release, so I think that's cool. This one is Gradius Collection. What makes this one neat is it has Gradius Gaiden on it, and that was a Japanese exclusive for the PS1, so very cool to get that in here. Other than that, you have Gradius 1 through 4, so all the arcade classics in one nice little pack for the PSP. So cool stuff there. This next one is an Atlas game, and I haven't played this very much yet, but what interested me about this is it's an RPG mixed with a shooter, which just sounds crazy to me, but whatever. But that is called Knights in the Nightmare, and it says it has some bullet hell shooting action, so I don't know if it's the boss stages or what, but I haven't got to any of the shooting bits yet, but I think it's kind of cool that it's in there, I guess, so kind of neat. This also came out for the DS, too, so maybe I'll have to check out that version as well, if it's pretty good. This next one's just another collection of Namco arcade classics. So that is Namco Museum Battle Collection. And what's neat about this is the PSP you can play in vertical mode. So you get to see the original aspect mode of a lot of these early Namco games. So it's a nice, easy way. You don't have to flip your TV on its side or anything like that, like you would at home. So it's a good way to play it on the go, and nice ports on this. I like this pack. It also has some arranged versions of some of their classics like Galaga, Pac-Man, Dig Dug, and New Rally X. I love Galaga. I played the Galaga arrangement. It was actually kind of boring, so I'm not too worried about it because there's enough cool original arcade games on this pack to be worth it. So actually a nice collection of the Namco museums. This last one I got for PSP is sealed, and I'll probably want to open this one, but I thought it was cool to get it sealed just because I'm surprised there were still some left. But that is Metal Slug Double X. Metal Slug X, just a great classic arcade game based on Metal Slug 2. It was a kind of a revised version of Metal Slug 2. But apparently this has a whole bunch of exclusive modes and some extra content that the original Metal Slug X didn't have. So cool that came out. Again, it's exclusive for PSP, so kind of cool to have that too. Alright, so the next system I'm going to cover is the PlayStation 1, and I only got a few games for that this month. I'm getting pretty much to the point where I have just about all the PS1 games I'm looking for, so that's kind of cool because there's a lot of neat stuff on that system. But it's taken a while to find some of these. So the first one of these is one that I used to own, and that is Air Gaze. Fighting game starring a lot of the Squaresoft characters. It's got Cloud from Final Fantasy VII in it. Basically, it plays like Tekken. I think it was even developed by Namco for Square, so I don't know, it's an okay game. I got bored with it the first time I had it, but now you don't see it very often, and I just felt like picking it up again, so I got that. This next one is one of the rarest games on the US PlayStation, one I had a really hard time finding. I barely ever saw this game even when it was new, so yeah, definitely a hard one to track down. But that is Team Buddies. And I heard some really good things about this game. I haven't tried it yet, but was pretty excited to find that out in a store. So yeah, Team Buddies. Next one is Bushido Blade 2, one of the fighting games on the system. And finally, another game you just don't see very often, but that is Juggernaut by Jaleco. 3-disc game, and yeah, just kind of a weird game that you don't see. A lot of those Jaleco games have very low print runs, I think, because you just don't see these anymore. So, cool to get that. Next system I'll do is the PS2, and again, just got a few games for it this month. First one of those is Wild Arms 3, and I guess I'm going to chase down all the Wild Arms games. They seem pretty cool, so we'll see. Next one is Shadow Hearts. Then we have a fighting game by Atlas, Arcana Heart. I believe this was a pretty late release for the PS2, so might be tough to get in the future. We'll see. And finally, another Atlas game, and that is Metal Saga. Next system I'll go over is the Xbox 360. Just got a few games for that as well. First one of these is Konami Classics Volume 2. I covered the first one of these, I think, last month. Like I said, it's a very lazy pack to be selling this at the price they did when it came out. You only get 3 games on it, and I guarantee they could have crammed in a lot more, but it has the original arcade version of Contra, Russian Attack, which is kind of interesting that they put that on there. That's one that I don't think is super popular. And then the classic Button Masher Track and Field. So, like I said, they could have put both of these collections into one easily, but I guess it's cool that the Xbox 360 got a few old arcade ports, because there really aren't a whole lot that were available commercially like that. This next one is another Atlas game that I don't see very often at all, and I don't know what's the story with it too much, but it's the King of Fighters 13. So they took away the year labels on these things, so I don't even know what year that would translate to. Maybe like 06, 07, 08, I don't know. But yeah, so some oddball King of Fighters releases by Atlas for 360. Final one I got for 360 is Eternal Sonata, and haven't played that one yet either. I think it's a sequel to Ephemeral Fantasia or whatever on the PS2. I can't remember the complete title of that one, but anyway, it's some kind of music-related RPG. Next system I'll go over is the Nintendo GameCube. Just got a couple games for that this month. First one of those is Auto Modelista, and this is when cell shading was king in the video games, when that was the industry hot thing to do to games. But yeah, this game, it's a cell shaded racing game, and I think the GameCube version is supposed to be the best. I can't really remember why, because this also came out for PS2 and Xbox, but I don't know. We'll give it a shot and see how it is. I remember playing it when it first came out, and I really wasn't that impressed. It had a lot of hype behind it, but it really just didn't play all that well. It looks great. I will give it that. Finally, for GameCube, I got Baten Kaitos Origins, which is the original Baten Kaitos games, I believe. It's a compilation of maybe 2 of them, I think, in one game. And then there's another Baten Kaitos game on GameCube as well. So then next we'll do the Nintendo DS. And first game I got for DS is Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon. It's pretty cool stuff. Like that Fire Emblem series. Next one's a shooter that you don't see very often. That is Nanostray 2. I've played some other shooters by this company, and they're really good looking games. The gameplay is okay on them. I haven't tried this one yet, but yeah, definitely want to take a look, because the graphics on the box here look fantastic. Next one's another rare Atlas game. This one's for DS, and it's Dokapon Journey, and it says it's a board game RPG hybrid. So I have to take a look and see how that is. Another one is another weird one by Sega, and that is the Rub Rabbits, or I've also heard it called Rub the Rabbits, but just a weird, like, love-themed, mini game collection type thing. It's a really strange game. There was, the first game in the series was Feel the Magic XXXY, I believe it was called. I think it was even a launch game. I do have that one, and it's okay, short doses. The other funny thing about this game is the Japanese version of this game is called Where Do Babies Come From? Yeah, so that is actually the title of this game. So it doesn't take itself too seriously, either in the US or in Japan, but kind of an interesting release. Finally, for the DS, I got a RPG developed by Red, who is one of my favorite companies, and that is Nostalgia. And again, great looking game from the box. Haven't tried it yet, haven't had time, but yeah, it should have some promise to it, I'm sure. Next system I'll go over is the original Game Boy. Like I said, didn't make a whole lot of progress on my collection this month. First game I got is Speedball 2. I got the original Ninja Turtles. It's a super common game, I just never had it. And then the one I did get that is a little more interesting is Ninja Turtles 3 Radical Rescue. This one you just don't see that often. It was a pretty late release. I think Turtles were kind of out by that point when this one came out. But now they're back, so, you know, hey, this should be pretty popular, I'm sure. Next one is Final Fantasy Adventure, and I got the manual with that, but no box, so at least that's kind of cool. I have 2 other games in the series complete, so hopefully I'll be able to get a box for that one, because it'd look on a shelf together, I'm sure. And then I did get a boxed Game Boy game, and pretty much anytime I see boxed Game Boy games, I'll pick them up, because you just don't see many of them at all. Most kids just threw the boxes out immediately. But that is WWF Superstars 2. So, yeah, good to get a boxed Game Boy game for a change. Next system I'll go over, I just have one game for, and that is the Game Boy Color. I got a loose Dragon Warrior 3, which should be a pretty decent port of that game, I'm sure. And then the next system is Game Boy Advance. I only got one game for that as well, and that is a complete copy of Advanced Guardian Heroes. Guardian Heroes on the Saturn is a great game. Haven't played the Game Boy Advance version yet. I think it's a new game in the series. I don't think it's a port or anything like that, so we'll see how it is. But yeah, cool to get that complete, I'm sure. Next system I'll go over is the TurboGrafx 16, and again, this will be just one game, because didn't buy a whole lot for it this month. But that is a complete copy of Dragon Spirit, which is a Namco arcade shooter, so cool to get that. I used to own this loose, so this was another one I upgraded this month, and then I'm just going to get rid of my loose copy. Next thing I got is just a box, and like I said before, I don't typically just buy boxes, but it's a cool box, and it's one you don't see too often, and that is Ninja Kid by Bandai for the NES. I thought it was neat because it had the original price sticker on there too, so cool to get that. Not mint condition or anything like that, but yeah, just a neat one to add to the collection. If you guys haven't taken a look this month, I also posted a video of my complete NES collection. Please take a look at that. I walked through my whole collection. I've got pretty much a complete US collection outside of stadium events. So if you want to see some more NES games, take a look at that other video. That's my little advertisement for that. The other thing I got for NES this month was a NES Max controller. And I had one of these as a kid. I never liked it. Just something about the buttons are just too tiny or something. I don't know. It's not a very cool controller. The little disc D-pad thing it's okay. It just doesn't really work that great for a lot of games. But I just saw it as a whole in my NES collection, so I've got one now. Next system I'm going to go over is the Nintendo Wii, and I did get a lot of games for the Wii this month. I started to do a little research into games I consider like rare or just kind of cool stuff that fell under the radar, and I realized I'm missing quite a bit on Wii, so stepped it up a little bit, got a few more Wii games this month. First one of these is nothing real special, but that is Trauma Center New Blood by Atlas. I always like the DS Trauma Center games. I've never played any of the ones on Wii. I've heard about control issues on these using the Wiimote, so we'll see how it is, but yeah, don't have a whole lot of high hopes for that one. I also got the last Trauma Team game, or the last Trauma Center game, and that is Trauma Team. This was the third game in the series for the Wii. Next one I got is, I love pinball games on home consoles, so I don't know if this one's any good, but I got Dream Pinball. Looks okay. Next one's another Atlas game, and that is Shiren the Wanderer, which don't know a whole lot about. We'll see how it is, but cool to at least get some more Atlas games for the Wii. Next one is one that I probably should have bought a long time ago, but I'm a big Zelda fan. I just don't really have time to play Zelda games anymore, so I skipped this one on release. I bought the first Zelda game for the Wii, but this one is Zelda Skyward Sword. So the thing that's frustrating about this is I actually went to go start playing this the other day, and I didn't notice this little note here on the bottom that you have to have the Wii Motion Plus sensor to play it. So that kind of canceled my plans because I never bought that silly thing either. So I'm going to have to get a Wii Motion Plus sensor or just get a one of the controllers that has it built in. So something else to buy. Next game I got is Rooms, the Main Building, and I don't think this is going to be anything great. The reason I wanted this is because the Wii was kind of the last hurrah for Hudson Soft. Konami had bought them at that point, but for some reason they started bringing the name back and letting them put out some games on the Wii. So, like I said, probably nothing too special, but just cool to get some of the obscure Hudson games for the Wii too. Speaking of obscure Hudson games, this is one that was probably one of the rarest and most highly demanded games for the Wii. It is a horror game, Japanese horror type game, and it is called Calling. Sounds really cool. I haven't had a chance to play it yet. The one thing I'll say about this game, and I don't know if everyone's got the word out about this, but mysteriously all the GameStop stores, well, most all of them, got used copies of this the last week of the year, right after Christmas. So if you're looking for this game and you didn't want to pay $70 for it or whatever it was going for, all the GameStops have them now. So sure, the value on this is going to drop like a rock, or at least temporarily will. But it's out there. If you wanted this game and you couldn't find it at a decent price, I think it's like $35 at GameStop. So again, I don't like GameStop. I'm not trying to support them, but if you were looking for this one, time to buy it is now. So check that out. The next one is one that I didn't even know existed for the Wii. I'm kind of finding out that Xseed is pretty much the developer of, or publisher of all the obscure Japanese style games on the Wii. So kind of getting all the Xseed games I can pick up. So the first one of these is Fragile Dreams, Farewell Ruins of the Moon. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't played it yet, but we'll see what that one's all about. Next one's one I would have just passed right on by had I not realized that it's got a little more interest in it. But that is the Sky Crawlers Innocent Aces. It says it's produced by Project Aces, who made all the Ace Combat games for Namco. So it's actually a very Japanese style flight sim, which I'm not a fan of flight sims, but I thought this one was kind of neat that they released this here. So something else to check out by Xseed. This next one is one that I did really want by Xseed. It's a 2D platformer, and that is Ivy the Kiwi. I ordered this game mail order, and I'm kind of frustrated because they sent me a photocopied cover for it, so I'm going to be looking for a genuine cover of it. It does have the original manual and everything in it, but yeah, that was kind of a bummer. I wasn't expecting that. So I do want to play the game, though. It looks really good. The next Xseed game I got is Victorious Boxers Revolution. And this is a Japanese anime, I believe it's called Hajime no Ippo. And it's all about this young boxer, kind of a, I don't know, just underdog character. And one of the few that made it to the US, so kind of cool to get that. I do like the cover, too, by the way. It's a little understated, but you got the silhouette of the boxer and the boxing gloves there. It's pretty cool. Next one's one that I probably should have bought a long time ago. I do like Capcom's Versus Series Fighters, and this was exclusive to the Wii, which props to them for doing that. But that is Tatsunoko versus Capcom, so all the characters from both universes fighting together. Hopefully pretty good. I haven't tried that one yet either, but definitely that series of games is pretty fun. Next one is one of my all-time favorite series. I don't think this one's anything special, but that is Bust-A-Move Bash. So just figured I needed to own it because I do like all the Bust-A-Move games. The next one is Opuna, which don't know a whole lot about that one. And finally for the Wii, this is one that if you're looking to start collecting rare Wii games, this is one that I almost guarantee is going to be a nightmare to find in the future. Very few exist even on eBay. I never see this game in the wild, and it's actually really fun. It's GTI Club Super Mini Festa. It's a very European-themed car racing game. Arcade-style handling, kind of fun courses. Has a bunch of mini games to break up the action too, so it's not just strictly racing. Has some of my all-time favorite Japanese hot hatches, or not Japanese, European hot hatches, especially a lot of Italian cars, Fiats, Alfa Romeos, stuff like that. But can't fault the car roster in this game at all. It's right up my my car-loving alley, and it actually is really fun. I ended up playing this for a few hours, so I'd say snap this up now because this game, it can't exist in very high numbers. There was a GTI Club arcade game many years ago that this is loosely based on, but this one wasn't an arcade release. So very cool. Definitely a neat Wii exclusive that fell under the radar. So yeah, check that out, GTI Club. Alright, so final system of the day is Super Nintendo, and I'm going to kick this off with a super exciting release that I've been looking for forever. This is probably the most expensive game on Super Nintendo as far as just loose copies. I don't know about complete, but I found one this month, and I've been looking for this game forever. So I love shooters. I am trying to collect all the Super Nintendo games, so this is a big one to get off the list. But that is Aero Fighters. Oh yeah, that's awesome that I got this. No stickers, unfortunately not complete or anything, but couldn't have faulted this copy. I mean, it's got a great label on it. It's fun. It's a shame this game had such a low print run because it's actually a really good shooter for Super Nintendo. This was an arcade game, and it's pretty loyal to it. It's got some slowdown, of course, but I'd say it's definitely pushing the Super Nintendo pretty hard for a shooter. So I really like this. I'm excited to get it. It's a great game, and it's super rare, so it's a cool combo. I don't know, I'm so pumped to get this off my list because I've been looking for this game forever. It's only the second time I've ever seen this game in a store, and the first time I just didn't buy it. So yeah, this is one that even working in a video game store years ago, I never saw this game get traded in. So I don't know what the story is on why this is so rare. This is the only game published by Mick O'River in the U.S. as far as I know on home consoles. So I don't, very cool. That was a highlight of my month, was getting that one for sure. Next one, and this won't be anywhere nearly as cool, is RoboCop vs. Terminator. Then we have Pushover, Inspector Gadget by Hudson Soft. Another one that is a very rare game I was pumped to get this month. I thought this would be fun. I do like platformers. It's a very rare game, late release game. It's awful, but that is Incantation by Titus. I don't know why I thought a Titus game would be any good, but it looks great. The graphics on this are excellent, but the play is just so awful. The music's awful. Like, it's a shame, but it's cool to get this knocked out too, because again, just a very hard game to find, and I got a very nice, it's loose, but label and everything like this one is in excellent shape too, so cool to get that. Next one is a great series, and that is Super Bomberman. I had Super Bomberman 2, I just never had the first one, so got that knocked out. Next one is Cannondale Cup. Then we have Nolan Ryan's Baseball. A cart with manual for War 3010. The Revolution. So cool to get that with the manual. And then I did get one complete game for the Super Nintendo this month, and that is Bob, or B-O-B, whatever you want to go with there. So cool to get that. So definitely anything Super Nintendo complete's nice to have. So hopefully you liked the video. I had a lot to cover this month. I had a good month for sure. Like I said, just odd to get so many Genesis games, and great to get that Aero Fighters out of the way. So hope you guys liked the video. Please take a moment, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. And I'll see you next month, if not sooner. Have a great day or night wherever you are. Happy holidays and Happy New Year.